guys, I know a lot of people have been talking about the coronavirus, the COVID-19, and all those other things, but we know we have the 5G that plays a factor. It's playing a factor. But we're going to jump into the surveillance system to what they got going on over there in China. Remember, we talked about this a while back. I talked about the number system that China has, but look how the coronavirus has China using surveillance to tackle outbreak. Check this out.
About China's high-tech fight against coronavirus, robots delivering food in hospitals, facial recognition cameras taking people's temperatures, and drones enforcing lockdowns and quarantines. But what about the tech we can't see? China's sophisticated and controversial data surveillance system is used to track citizens on and offline.
健康码运用大数据监控后台大数据精密指控
And it's proving extremely effective during the pandemic. The mass surveillance network has taken the Communist Party decades to build. They've faced near constant criticism for it around the world. But as the world tries to get a grip on COVID-19, many countries are looking to the model for answers. Here's how they're doing it in South Korea.
They're using your phone to look and then they'll send you an emergency alert if you're anywhere near where a confirmed coronavirus patient has been.
Singapore, Israel, Iran, Taiwan and Russia have all adopted some or all of the Chinese methods to temporarily harness the power of data. More are expected to follow. So how does China's data surveillance system work, and how is it useful in a pandemic? It all starts with this, a national ID card. You need one to pretty much do anything in China. From buying a mobile phone to using any app, everything you do leaves a data trail linked back to your ID. In areas in lockdown, phone location data is being used to monitor movement and enforce curfews. If a patient is meant to be in quarantine, geolocation pings on their phone can alert authorities if they stray out of their homes. Phone location data is also being used to map exactly where that person visited in the 2 weeks before being diagnosed. A combination of human and automated computer analysis work out who they may have infected. If they went on a train and got too close to other commuters, a text message is sent out through one of the major apps, alerting those at risk. Every person is being assigned a coloured QR code depending on the risk they pose. Green, no risk. Orange, they've entered a potential virus hotspot. And red, if they've tested positive for the virus and could still be contagious. None of this cyber surveillance would be any good without the Chinese state's strict enforcement teams too. Police and volunteers have literally manned the exits of apartment blocks to keep places on lockdown. But in countries where these data surveillance powers are being brought in to help deal with coronavirus, some people are worried about the long term.
My name is Adam Schwartz. I am a senior lawyer at the Electronic Frontier Foundation. There is a great concern that when government gets new powers in a crisis, government never gives those powers away even when the crisis ends. So, for example, in the wake of the 9/11 attacks, the United States created vast new surveillance powers. 19 years later, those powers are still very much in the hands of the US government.
Adam and others also have questions about just how much of a difference this data surveillance can make and if it's worth it.
What we are basically saying to governments around the world is, before you unveil unleash a brand new mass surveillance power, it's necessary for governments to come forward and really public health professionals to come forward and show that these technologies would actually address the crisis.
Striking the delicate balance between privacy and security is an age-old problem for governments and the public. But perhaps never in history has the dilemma been more pressing and more life-threatening.
So you see that for what it is. You see that how China is doing the number system.
We've all been here before.
To combat the coronavirus. So we just seen all that. So that gives you a clear perspective to see how even the 5G, what we talked about with the 5G, mass fire problem that meant the 5G corona claims. This wasn't that long ago. This is talking about the mobile has fire being invested in main conspiracy theories claiming a link between 5G and the virus. It says a video, and let's see if we can find a video, but a lot of people are talking about the 5G. So they say we are aware of the information being shared online about 5G. This is absolutely no evidence of the link between 5G and the coronavirus. That's why I say don't be thinking that we're the only one out here getting this information. Trust me, they out here paying attention and all these other things as well. So does it play a risk? Does 5G pose a health risk? Without a question, there's a lot of radiation coming out of the 5G. Let's pop up a couple videos about that. Well, we don't even have to do that. It says, what's the difference about 5G? 5G is a network relay on the signal carrier through radio waves, part of electrical transmitting between antenna and mast of your phone. 5G uses high frequency waves, either mobile network, allowing more devices to have access to the internet at the same time and faster speeds. So we know that we have seen multiple videos on the 5G danger risk. 5G dangers in 2020. All this stuff is out here. A lot of people have been talking about it. This good guy right here has a lot of good information about the 5G because he actually works for the corporation. He works for these people, and he's on YouTube, by the way. Let me see if I can pop up one of his YouTube videos, because this guy's actually on there as well. So let's see what they're talking about real quick here. Let me get it popped up. Bear with me, stand by. Alright, but yeah, guys, make sure you get this shared out, man, because a lot of people are trying to figure this out. A lot of folks are seeing it for what it is. Some people are, are saying this, saying that, but the proof is in the pudding. We got to see exactly what's going on with Huawei over there is doing the same thing. This is one of the biggest cell phone 5G companies, supplier of the 5G network infiltration. This is one of the biggest companies out here that's doing it. High risk vendors never have been and never will in our most sensitive networks, 5G. So all this stuff is going on. I'll leave the links to all these different I'll leave the link to all these different articles here too. Sorry for the background noise, but I'll leave the link to all these different articles here talking about the 5G and all these other different things as what's going on, so you guys can be abreast on all this, because this is the stuff that we're dealing with right now.
You hear that noise?
Gridlock that's going to cause huge problems for basically every hardware company. It turns out mass-producing hardware is really complex, with thousands of moving parts and almost no stockpiles to fall back on when a disaster like the coronavirus hits. When China went on lockdown in February, it basically stopped electronics manufacturing cold. An analyst group called TrendForce estimates that 5.7 million laptop computers shipped in February, which might sound like a lot, but it's a 48% drop from last year. We're already seeing some of the impact from that. If you need to replace a broken MacBook right now, you could be waiting for a while. And some analysts are predicting the next round of iPhones could also be delayed. Manufacturing is just a much more brittle system than people realize.
So you see that even the manufacturers over there in China, even with China Mart, aka Walmart, all these are, everybody's playing the blow. Everybody's feeling the impact. So you see iPhones are going to be delayed, iMacs are going to be delayed, Nike's being delayed with their import and export on their shoes. A lot of this stuff, man, it's all coming down the rabbit hole. And before you renew your Amazon Prime, you might want to read some things. This is all this stuff is coming into the forefront. I'm gonna drop another video here later on throughout the rest of this week, pertaining into the earthquakes that are going on around the world with the virus that's going on, the massive locusts that we're seeing around the world as well. So it's a lot of things going on all at once. So you already know what it is. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow y'all. Make sure you get it shared out too. King coming. Blessings.